In the beginning, Adam bites the apple. In 1903, the first narrative film is made. In 93, Spielberg says F you to evolution. And in 2009, Film Riot is released to the world.
Want to be a filmmaker? Well, so do I. Let's figure it out. We're going to be following Trying Films from pre to post-production as we make our latest short film, Tell. Along the way, we're going to be showing you how to accomplish great effects with little to no budget. And every now and again, we'll be jumping over to Full Sail University to get you advice from the pros. So grab some popcorn and get comfortable. This is Film Riot. Welcome to Film Riot, the show that takes the mystery out of the effects and techniques of some of your favorite Hollywood films. We're your host, Brian Conley, and last week we showed this.
Hey Josh, what are you doing?
What?
Awesome idea, come here, come here.
What?
I had an idea for an opening sketch, just for 2 seconds, come here, it's only gonna take 2 seconds.
Still didn't hear what you just
You
said.
just for 2 seconds do something that I tried to tell you to do, you never do what I want you to do, just come here for 2 seconds, it's gonna be great.
Teleporting Josh's wall, tons of gore and lots of blood, fighting and then shooting and then hit by a car. Ryan's head, Josh is dead, dancing with a giant head. Turbulent displacement is the greatest of songs. Uppercut at the butt, Papa Vein and lots with butts. Dinosaurs with little arms, Emily is Anton. Naked shower, show their power. Ryan's preacher is a shouter, blowing up a teddy bear with a fucking tang. Episode 1000. Don't try to fight it. This is Film Riot. Episode 1000. Don't try to fight it. This is Film Riot. Cowboys in a horny jar, super speechies in a rush. Ryan got possessed and Josh was grinding his hips. Emily is setting fires, holy Batman ammo powers, laser vision, this magician, look at those legs. UFOs and zombies, Josh with a fatality. Speaking of fatalities, look at all these. Siblings with a rivalry, winners always Emily. Rapping Santa, Harry Potter, it's a crazy family. Episode 1000, don't try to fight it, this is Film Riot. Episode 1000. Don't try to fight it, this is Film Riot.
It has been 1,000 episodes and 12 years of Film Riot as of today. Somehow, we just hit it on the same exact day. As of this exact day, it has been 1,000 episodes and 12 years. And I started the show in Florida when I was 27 and single. Now I'm married with 2 kids and living in Texas. Josh was only 17 when we first started, and he looked it.
You're such a freaking nerd.
You shot my body!
You said that you were gonna break my arm.
Why did you do that?
If you turn down one more of my ideas, I kill Tim.
That's morbid.
But when we first started this show, I was making it on nights and weekends when I wasn't doing my main day job. And even back then, I would sometimes talk to someone behind the camera. The difference was there wasn't anyone else there, which is a little embarrassing and cringy. Our first email comes from Jenny, which is a girl's name. Girls watch the show? And for the first 3 months, I was alone in a studio pretending not to be. So I would have to set up the light, record a little bit, check that, make some tweaks, and on it went. And that makes me remember what I was making the show on back then. I had this old, cheap laptop that was so slow that I would have to set the shots to key for my stand-ups, rendering for about 20 hours or more. It was an absolute nightmare to do VFX on, and thankfully, I was able to upgrade to a MacBook after a few months of the show. But it's funny thinking about those early days or how I pitched the show to Revision 3. I made it sound like I had a plan, but I was really just winging it, taking the ideas as they came. I knew where I wanted to go with the show as a whole, but no idea what to do next. So it ended up being really lucky that my brother Josh and my friend Tim Allen were really funny on camera. So I started there.
At least he wasn't trained by a Muppet!
You don't know what is a Jedi Master! Spock was a Vulcan!
It's still your fault! No, you're a real jerk.
You gonna cry now?
No,
You want me to get you a tissue?
I'm not gonna cry.
I need to hold you to my bosom and make you feel okay.
Stop it!
I know. I can hum you a comforting song.
You're just getting me upset. It's gonna make me teleport.
Your father will never love you!
If he walks like a duck, talks like a duck, and acts like a duck, what the f are we arguing about?
Then we had Bruno join up and Brett, some family members, just anyone that was willing to be on camera for me. I would just shape my ideas around that.
For the first half, I'm gonna show how to make a homemade dolly.
Like a Cabbage Patch Kid?
Go die.
That was a legitimate question.
Camera dolly, fart huffer.
Wait outside.
He's saying some things!
I know. You're too emotional.
He's saying some things!
Wait in the car. I will handle it. I got you some gummy bears. Gummies are yummy.
It's got the devil in your soul and grab your hopes and dreams. Yes.
Then Emily entered the show, and that was another one that came about from necessity.
Bet you heaven's in a cloud.
What are you, high?
Who's the jerk now?
Come on. Blow your screen.
It was a weekend and I needed to shoot for the show like every weekend, but all the usual players had gone off to a festival, so it was just me. But my little sister Emily was around, and at the time she was just 9. And I knew she was funny on camera since I had made some short, cute sketches with her a few years before Film Riot was even a thing. So with Emily as my co-star and my other 12-year-old sister as my camera operator, we went out and shot most of that sketch for the episode.
Emily, get in! Get in!
Then we just picked up a few other shots when we had some help.
Should we call your parents? Okay.
And if you've watched the show for a while, you know that Emily continued on as this hilarious, tough character, one of my favorite things actually from this show, but it came out of necessity, which has honestly been the case with almost everything over the years.
Because without them, something could shoot into your eyes and blind you, or
You cut my fingers off!
I didn't see them!
How do you not see them? They were right there!
Yelling at me's not gonna make them uncut, is it?
But then we had times where getting sick or it raining or a hard drive crashing put a halt to the show. I was doing it on off hours, so there was really little room for error. It was definitely a struggle for the first year to have an episode every single week, which led to a lot of episodes where I had to explain why there wasn't an episode.
So what am I supposed to do with the episode? I don't know, you figure it out.
Unfortunately, this isn't a joke. Brian's been in bed all weekend, therefore there's no episode this week.
I woke up yesterday to find my computer had crashed, and the episode crashed along with it.
Decided to do our first video vlog because we were going to shoot today, but as you can see, crap happens. What a hurricane weather, what are you going to do?
But finally, after about a year, I was able to quit my job and live off my friend's futon while I figured things out, which led to some of the worst quality episodes we have ever done. Once I left my job, I had absolutely no access to gear anymore, so Revision 3 sent us a loaner camera to use, and when it got there, we found that it was this. And since we had it, we decided to make the best of it and try to spin it this way.
Whichever of these 3 $100,000 price cameras come out on top in the end, I'm gonna use to shoot Film Riot for the next month or so, just to show that you don't need a ton of money to make some good stuff.
It was a dark time for Film Riot. The episodes with that camera looked so incredibly bad, and the sound was just as rough. I ended up having to buy a mic for 50 bucks, and we just made the best of that too. It was interesting to say the least, and just to say again, sweet God, did those episodes look bad. Then I think after around 4 months of that, we finally cut a deal with B&H where they let us borrow a Sony EX3 for a while, which also marked the first time I didn't have to deal with tapes anymore. Before that, I was capturing tape for every single episode, which was also a nightmare. It's crazy to think how far technology has come during the course of this show as well. But after 6 months of living off of kindness of my now brother-in-law, Tim Allen, I finally moved into my own house, which, just like the next 3 houses after, was half a house and half the studio we used to make the show. At one point, we had 5 people working out of one small room in the back corner of that place. It was definitely a fun 2 years filled with some of my favorite episodes, like our Christmas specials and the first short film that we released on the channel, Losses, which is just riddled with issues.
Pimp walking like a pimp when I'm nipping like a pimp and I'm pimping like a gimp.
Don't overreact, I'll go to Publix.
How's this for acting over? No. Not true! This is real life, motherfucker! Over cereal! Over cereal!
Look who's back, I'm Alan, and I brought Chinese.
And I brought death. No!
What?
You are the biggest f***ing elf I've ever seen. I call this my tickle stick.
Scuba diving?
I don't want to hurt anyone, so instead of blowing stuff up, it makes you giggle.
That sounds nice.
My contribution to society.
You are such a humanitarian.
Well, I'm no hero, but...
Dude, please try it on me.
Okay.
No? Big surprise. You always have to go first.
You have no idea what this thing is actually going to do.
You have no faith in me.
You faithless heathen.
Logo.
But then in 2012, we left Florida behind to move to Texas, which opened up a whole new world of possibilities, leading to what is now one of my favorite short films, Proximity, which is also the first time that we worked with our now great friends Justin Robinson and Wayne Phillips. And those first 2 years of Texas are also riddled with some of my favorites, just odd madness that was so much fun to make, like Emily taking the guys out.
Bring it on!
Flamethrowers. Josh slamming himself into walls.
Do it. Come on, man.
He's fine. He's just not running fast enough.
Us putting ourselves in the first Avengers trailer.
Stop fighting!
Which is also the episode that gave us our longest running inside joke, Turbulent Displace.
Turbulent displacement! Turbulent displacement!
That joke doesn't actually appear in that episode, but that is where the actual footage is from. Then there was the sketch we did with Todd while he was here to work on Proximity, one of which has one of my favorite exchanges of dialogue ever.
You never use it.
Never.
For this reason.
Right.
So you usually use Google Maps to steal money from bank vaults halfway around the world using transporter technology supplied by J.J. Abrams.
Well, not usually. No.
Though I will say my favorite exchange of dialogue on our show is from this episode in 2010.
I think I left it inside.
What?
I left it inside!
You're an idiot!
What?
You're an idiot!
What?
You are an idiot!
What?
But the short Todd was there to shoot with us, Proximity, was also brought about by necessity and one of our biggest failures, the big budget short film Outsiders that fell through at the very last minute. And it falling through is what led us to make Proximity and a bunch of friendships and collaborators that we've kept to this day, like Hannah Ward, Graham Powell, Ryan Booth, and like I said, Justin and Wayne. And it also is the first in a series that includes Sentinel and Ballistic, which Sentinel is the short film that brought in our now full-time incredible visual effects artist, Ryan Thompson. And Ballistic is the film that got my managers and led to all the pitching that I've been doing lately. It's constantly funny how things work out and tie together. It feels like things just happen for a reason when you're constantly just driving forward. But I think an interesting way to look at the growth of Film Riot over the years from the very, very green filmmakers to today are the short films, like this war sketch we did in 2010. It's pretty terrible. No lights, no crew, just figuring things out on the fly. Then we did Losses in 2011, which was fun, had a little more effort, but was still riddled with all kinds of issues, like all the bad guys looking extremely young and like they were headed to the mall. Then in 2012, we finally released a short that I had been talking about since the beginning of Film Riot, which was Tell, which I actually shot in 2008. I ended up sitting on that footage until 2012 since I was waiting to find a solid composer, which I did with Daniel James, who is now still one of my closest collaborators and has composed all my short films since.
Could be worse, mate.
But since we shot in 2008, we had to hide Josh from all the behind the scenes since he looked like a baby, and I wanted to keep it current and exciting for the audience, which now, just thinking back on it, it's honestly just kind of dumb.
No babies!
Then, of course, we did Proximity, which opened the doors for my epic summer film, UFO Yeah.
Oh my god!
And that was the first time I worked with Ryan Booth, who also DP'd my short Ghost House, which is how I met Chase Smith, who ended up DPing both of my most recent short films, Ballistic and There Comes a Knocking. But we also had an action month back in 2015. We shot in Canada with my good friends Trevor Addy, Cassandra Ebner, and Josh Nepper. It was my first time shooting with stunt artists, and they taught me a ton. Ballistic benefited so much from what I learned from Cassandra and Trevor. And that's sort of what I aim for with every short that we've done over the years, to try and make something great, but to also learn and push myself to the next level, aiming for that end goal of features bit by bit. Really, the common denominator in all of my shorts getting better and the show continuing on is the people that helped me make all of it. The great collaborators that shared the passion for the project, like all the people I mentioned, or Andrew Kramer, who stepped in to save the day with the visual effects on Sentinel, Ballistic, and Ghost House, or my amazing producers on Ballistic, including including my stunt coordinator, Josh Tessier, or the guys over at Weekend Video or Denton Film. I guess after 1,000 episodes, the thing that I realized most is that I absolutely would not be here if not for the countless people who lifted me up. No one gets anywhere alone. No matter how hard you work or how much you do things for yourself, there's always supporters, collaborators, and mentors. Like Ryan Vance, who discovered the show, helped me launch it, and helped me evolve it over time. My brother Josh, who has been my right-hand man since day one of the show and is taking it over now. And my older brother Tim, who is my business partner and the entire reason that I'm not bankrupt. He's also produced pretty much every short film I've ever made, and no matter how insane, impulsive, or creative-brained my idea might be, he's always there to advise and support.
It's getting real. Daddy.
And that, for me, has been the most important thing, and the only reason that I've found any success, surrounding myself with wonderful people, creating a community where we all help each other reach our goals. Of course, my ultimate goal is making that feature, and we aren't there yet, and it's been a long road to try to get there, and we've shared that publicly, hoping that it could help others, but we're closer than ever, and we're gonna get there, and soon. And when we do, it will only be thanks to all of you, the audience that has helped support us over the years, and all my friends and family who have held me up and pushed me forward for the last 12 years. So to the countless people who have believed in us and supported us, it's impossible to thank you enough, but thank you just the same. So I want to end this the same way that we started the show. You want to be a filmmaker? So do I. Let's figure it out.
I'm stylish, got 'em all wild. Stylish, got 'em all wild. I'ma do it big, pull up on 'em like I ain't playing around. Tell 'em we gon' come through, we gon' slay this town. Yeah, bring the band out. Tell 'em we ain't playing around, we a man's out. Ooh, I need the dollars to add up the bread on the rocks like I'm heating the batter. I give 'em cakes, then you Superman. I need to give me a super bag. I make it splash, it's a super bad. Smell like McLovin, I'm super bad. Like that, I live like a movie cam. Drumline, make 'em break it down one time. Get up on your feet, get up out your shit. I ain't playing around. Get up on your feet, get up out your seat. I ain't playing now. Get up on your feet, get up out your seat. I know you shit now. Just let the band come in. I'ma do it.
Cut. It's a wrap, everybody.
What were you gonna sing?
I thought you were gonna sing.
I was gonna sing.
I was gonna sing, but then I saw you singing.
Yeah. I was saying
I thought I was gonna sing, but I thought you stopped last time, so I was gonna sing this.
That's exactly what I thought.
Okay,
Okay, now. Okay. I got you.
Now see, I thought you were gonna start singing. I thought you were gonna.
This is very unorganized.
Okay, all right.